So yeah, we're going to talk about the elephant in the room, which is shit's expensive. And I can't tell you, I would say 2, 3 times a week, I meet a new person that when they learn what I do, they're like, oh my gosh, I would totally love to move right now, but everything is so expensive. Like, I don't like my house, and here, reason A, reason B, reason C, reason D, but what am I going to buy? Right? And also, a lot of that ties to the rates because it's a payment situation. You don't live in the price, you live in the payment. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, everything is so expensive. The housing prices are so high. Yes, it's not the price that bothers you, it's the payment that comes along with that. And because our rates are hovering around 7% at the moment, the difference in the monthly payment to someone's monthly budget of living in their house that they don't like for reason A, B, C, and D versus selling that and buying something else, the difference in the rate causes a difference in payment of, for a lot of people, almost double. So especially if you've been in your house for 3, 4, 5 years, or you have a 2.5, 3.5% interest rate on your current mortgage. And so if I had a magic wand and I could solve that problem for you, I totally would. I can't tell you how many hours I have spent trying to figure out creative solutions. And there are some out there. There are some assumable loans. So a lot of people have FHA loans on their homes that are assumable, which makes your home extremely marketable to somebody else that would want to buy it because they may be able to assume that loan. But now they have to get a gap loan, or essentially a loan to cover the difference for all the equity that you have. And that's at the higher rate. And a lot of lenders haven't done those in a long time because the rates were so low for so long that, one, people don't know about them, and two, lenders don't really know how to do them, and they're not really prepared for that kind of stuff. But there is no good answer to that right now. And because of that, I can't tell you how many people I know that tell me every day, I would totally move if it didn't cost me an arm and a leg every month just to solve this first world problem, right? Well, I'd really like my kids to have their own room, but if it costs me an extra $700 or $800 a month, that doesn't make sense because everything else is so much more expensive and I can't afford that. I can't justify that, right? And so that is really stifling a lot of it's suppressing the supply. When you're suppressing your supply, we still have people that want to buy a house, and we still have a seller's market because there's not enough supply out there for the housing that is needed for the buyers that are even willing to buy at the rates that we have. So I think it's going to come around to a new normal. So I have some people starting to come around to the fact that they're like, you know what? I don't know if or when the rates are ever going to get back to 3, 4, 5%. I'm not willing to put up with this discomfort, this inconvenience, whatever it may be. And it may not be a first world problem. It may be like, hey, mom's got to come live with us because we can't afford $8,000 a month to put her in an assisted living facility. And so, you know what? That extra $1,500 a month to go find a house that has a guest suite or a mother-in-law suite or a finished basement or something is less than the alternative. It's less painful. And so now that it's coming around, I think people are starting to realize, guys, this is the new normal. We had crazy, crazy low interest rates. It was ridiculously cheap to borrow money for over a decade. And that opportunity may or may not come again. So the question is how long are you willing to wait for that opportunity to come back? And what's it going to cost you in the meantime? So, I mean, as y'all know, I talk about owning investment property because people need rentals. People need houses to rent. I can't tell you how many people that are like, I need to go find a house to rent. Can you help me? Like, guys, there's no inventory for that. And I don't get compensated for that. Like that, I would go broke trying to help people find rentals. And so, my last rental I bought at what at the time seemed like, oh my gosh, this is a crazy high interest rate because it's an investor rate. And so even then it's higher than what the market rate was, but that rate is cheaper than what I could go get now. And that was a year ago. Or less than a year ago. And it's like, okay, what are you going to risk in the meantime? How much money are you going to lose waiting for things to get better? And you're waiting for something that may or may not ever happen. And so I think when a lot of consumers and a lot of just homeowners and people that need places to live come around to the fact that, okay, 6, 7, 8% is the new normal. I still need to go buy a house. My rent keeps going up. I'll do another video about why rent's going up, one of the many reasons, up above and down below. because I have more and more renters that are reaching out and like, well, my rent just went up again. Maybe I should buy instead. Oh my gosh, buying's so expensive. And then they just get off the fence and not do anything. Like they just keep paying more rent, keep paying more rent, keep paying more rent. So how much, like, when do you stop the bleeding, right? And it's like, yes, things are expensive, but you're going to be paying somebody. So do you keep paying somebody else's mortgage? Or when do you stop the bleeding and start paying your own and at least get something back? You get a tax break on that interest. That mortgage interest is still currently a tax write-off. You can reduce your income, your taxable income, by that amount. So you're going to pay somebody. You're going to pay the government income taxes, or you're going to pay somebody else's mortgage, or you're going to pay a bank. At least if you pay a bank, you get something back. You get some equity back. You're investing in yourself a small amount. Trust me, I looked at one of my mortgage statements yesterday and I was like, okay, $1,900 a month is going towards interest. $300 a month is going towards principal. Does it hurt? Yes. But that's $300 a month that it's like, okay, that would be going to somebody else's mortgage and I'm not getting anything for that. And that $1,900 a month, I can write off my taxes. So just consider that. Like, consider the fact of when this is the new normal and everybody else is like, you know what? Okay, that's what it is. I got to suck it up. I got to go do it. Rent's getting more expensive. Mortgages are getting more expensive. I want to go buy a place. When that clicks and there's more people that are willing to buy and still a bunch of people that are on the fence and not willing to sell their current place, our demand situation gets worse. We go back to multiple offer situations. We are back in competing and covering appraisal gap. We are back into waiving inspections. And we had that this spring. We had that this spring at 7% rates. And it's going to come again. It's going to happen again next spring. I don't see any reason that it can't. And so I really, really, really behoove you to just like check things out, look at your numbers, say, okay, when do we say we're done? Enough is enough. Let's just figure it out. Do we go in the second half of the year? I always talk about buy downs. I'll link to a video up above and down below on what a seller buy down is and why that can help you and why that can give you some relief for the first 2, 3, 4 years, or 1, 2, 3 years, depending on the buy down timeline that you do, why that can give you some relief on what those payments can be, because that's what really hurts. That's what stings so much, is that crazy payment, because it's crazy because of what the rates have been for the last 10 years. Well, it's not crazy compared to the last, 16 months, 18 months. And so people are still buying houses, people are still selling, but not as many as I think probably would like to. And they just wait. I've talked about this before, you're going to wait yourself into a hole. So anyway, I know it sucks. Shit's expensive. It's hard to figure out how to make everything work. But let me know how I can help, because a lot of times there's creative options out there. And when you actually run the numbers, you're like, oh, that stings. That's $800 a month more than what we're currently paying. Okay, well, what you're currently paying does not work for your life. It causes you angst. What is that angst and what is that discomfort worth? It's hard to put numbers on our feelings and we suck it up because we need to save the money, but then we're miserable. So there needs to be a balance of, okay, I have some disposable income. Yes, it costs more money, but it's money that I'm not spending on other things, or that is worth it to me to be happier with my space, to be happier with my kids' school, to be happier that I'm not paying $6,000 or $8,000 a month for mom to live in a home or whatever. And let's make your house work for your season of life. Okay. Anyway, that's my little rant for today and my little preach. And hopefully that hits home with a couple people. If that was helpful, or you're like, okay, yeah, I knew that, I just needed somebody else to say it, hit the like button down below. That'll help other people find it. If you're in the South Metro Denver area and you want to sit down, you want me to talk about things with you or game plan with you or see what makes sense, I do this all the time. It's not something that you have to be ready to buy or ready to sell right this second. I'm all about helping you make a game plan. I have clients that I've been helping for 2 or 3 years before they've decided to sell or to buy something else. So it's really an advisement role that I want to help you get to your happiest life that you can get. And it takes time to plan for that and to get there. So anyway, reach out to me. You can schedule an appointment directly on my calendar from the link down below. Try to make it as easy as possible for y'all, because hey, life's busy and it sucks playing phone tag to set appointments. So hopefully that helps. And thanks so much for the time. If you're liking my videos, please subscribe to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And y'all have a great day.